What's going on, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Insights from the Locker Room. I am your host, Derek Bone Crusher Dennis, in the building, along with my co-host,
Tyler Miss Johnston.
Oh, wow. Are you crooning?
Yeah, you're welcome.
That is amazing.
You're welcome for that.
You know you have to do that for the rest of the shows now, for the rest of the offseason.
Tyler Miss Johnston. Yeah, probably. We'll probably switch it up every time now.
That is hilarious. Oh, man. So, again, thank you again for tuning in this week. Again, shout out to Caffeine and Kilos for the great support, and to the winners who we announced last week for getting some PR blend from Caffeine and Kilos. I've got a lot of messages from the winners saying thank you, Tyler and I. So appreciate the support, guys. Keep supporting, and when your PR blend gets in the mail, enjoy.
Yeah, it's on its way right now, and so it should show up at some time, probably this week or next. Sorry, I didn't pay for the expedited shipping. We are in lockout because of the current CBA negotiations. So I didn't have the money to overnight it to you guys. So you will get it. It's on its way, but it's UPS ground, so it'll be there in a while. It's coming.
It's coming. So this episode, we got a lot to talk about, man.
Big time.
It's been I thought initially it was a slow week in news, but I think around maybe Wednesday or Thursday, it kind of picked up some steam.
Started heating up.
And this weekend, it's been a straight firestorm on Twitter.
Oh, God.
Hot topic is the ratio rule. Apparently, some report came out, again, by Justin Dunk, who's always done a very good job of reporting stuff. He's got some phenomenal sources, I guess.
He does.
I've never seen him report something that was untrue.
Well, that
may have been information may have slightly been off, but it was never too far-fetched.
Also, I think he does a good job. Like, if he's not super confident in whatever source he got, he's like, disclaimer. It's,
yeah.
Take this at face value, or don't take this at face value, but this is what I hear. This is what's going on. And I think he does a really good job, too, with just being, like, understanding of the athlete as well. So he knows,
I like Dunk.
He knows exactly how.
I have
how
Dunk's number
somebody.
Personally. I talked to Dunk. He seems like a cool guy. I don't have no issues with him. I know some guys around the league do have an issue with Dunk because they feel like he's the clickbait king. He's just putting stuff out there just to get people to click on it and get those views. But
I do hate clickbait, but I don't see any of his articles like, find out what Derek Dennis ate for breakfast this morning. It'll shock you.
That's super clickbait.
That's all clickbait.
No one's going to click on that anyway. No one cares what I ate for breakfast. No. But I did have an omelet if you want to know.
Ooh, I had some eggs Benny this morning.
Ooh.
Yeah, mother-in-law was in town, so she was treating us to some breakfast and dinners. And
oh, nice.
Solid. Always solid.
Nice. It's always nice to have the in-laws treat you to something nice.
Yeah, but anyway, that was not talking fun. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
but back to the CBA negotiations and the Twitter firestorm that's been going on with Derek and
ratio
the fans.
Rule.
The ratio.
So the topic is it was a report out there that both sides, the CFL and the PA, are interested in dropping the number of Canadian starters from 7, which is currently is right now, to 5. And it's been a lot of uproar from fans. I've seen fans tweet, if they drop the ratio, I'm not watching CFL no more. It's the Canadian Football League. You can't drop Canadian content, which they didn't say they was going to drop it completely. They just said they were going to limit the numbers.
Yeah.
I've seen people tweet they're all in favor for it, from players to media to fans. I've seen people tweet other thing. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's probably the two biggest things.
Yeah.
People either agree with it or they don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest issue is that the firestorm that it created is now it kind of seems like there's a little bit of a divide in the PA because the players are going back and forth. The Canadian guys are upset that the American guys are complaining.
Yeah.
The American guys are upset that the Canadian guys feel some type of way, and they feel like it's kind of the pay scale is kind of unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I've never had an issue with it. I mean, when I first got into the league, I was just happy to be playing football.
Exactly.
I really didn't care about the paycheck.
Yeah. Also, I'm a count as a national player, so I guess I'm kind of talking out my ass. But yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But I mean, your perspective is actually going to be interesting because even though you do have national status, you technically are an international. You have the same type of story background as an international player.
Yeah, I'm an international player that got his citizenship specifically to be a Canadian.
So for you, it's kind of I don't know. It's like you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I do. Because that was the thing. Is when I was coming in 2017, when a couple of NFL workouts weren't panning out. It got to like mid-season, and I was my agent and I were seeing guys that I was better than, get calls, and the consensus was I needed film. So that's when we decided to go up to the CFL, and that was when we called Calgary, who had my rights, and they're like, "Yep, absolutely." And they kind of started the process, and then realized my dad was from Calgary, or it just came up in conversation.
Yeah.
And they said, "Whoa, hold your horses there. Like, all right, we're not bringing you up right now as an American, because that'll fuck you. Yeah. So we're gonna bring you up as
you'll make more money as a
national. It'll ruin your career up here if you want a long career.
But see,
here,
that's a big thing. If a team will tell a player, listen, you should get national status because you'll make more money than you would as an American. Yeah. I mean, that kind of tells it all right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean that's a big story.
I've seen I've gone back and forth with another guy, Josiah St. John, who's actually Canadian, born and raised. He's from Canada, but he played at OU. Yeah. He played NCAA football. Yeah. And he was a first-round pick in the CFL draft. And even he said his mind growing up, he felt like as a Canadian, he didn't really pay much attention to the CFL. Like it didn't really register to him growing up.
When he was growing up,
he wanted
CFL
to go to NFL or play in the NCAA. Yeah. Like he wasn't thinking about CIS. He wasn't thinking about CFL. So this ratio issue is very big because it ties into a lot of things. I think the biggest thing is the grassroots thing. If you're concerned about the ratio dropping because you're concerned about the effect it'll have on the grassroots level, but there's already an issue with not enough support in the grassroots level. Exactly. So how do you expect to fulfill a ratio number when you already know that's hard enough to find the bodies to come? Yeah. Like, do you think increasing the number is going to make more kids want to play?
No, sir.
I don't think so. Because it still doesn't fix the fact that there's not enough support at the lower levels. And we've talked about this before in other episodes.
Yeah, exactly. There's just really not the like in Canada. And again, this is a general statement. So when fans, when you're hearing this and you're listening to what I'm about to say, don't get all upset and in your feelings and bring up the best players that ever came out of Canada, because that's not who I'm talking about.
People do that.
I'm not talking about the outliers.
I've seen reporters do
exactly,
that on as well. I've seen guys go, the greatest players in the CFL be American, and then the greatest Canadian players. But again,
it's like that's not. I'm not talking about the outliers, like the freaks of nature. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about in general, like just in general, the average, right? The average guy that is good enough to go to the CFL. Anyway, but the under leagues or the lower leagues, the developmental leagues, and like the Pee Wee football, the high school football, and the college football in Canada, the 18, 19U teams are not even close to being on par with what's going on in the States. So the talent is being groomed younger and with better coaching and with more like generational love of the game than is going on up in Canada for the most part. Of course, there's the outliers, like I said. Yeah. But what that creates is a situation where, when you have, when you're talking about the ratio rule and, lessening or reducing the amount of Canadian starters, it's really not that. I feel like personally, it's not that big of a deal because if Canada is so worried about, or the Canadian players are so worried about the ratio going down and not getting their shot, what it comes down to is do you want your league to be playing the best football that it can play, or do you want it to play guys because it has to? Yeah, coddle guys, exactly. So it's almost like, it's funny too because I feel like a lot of the people that are like like we need to increase the number of Canadians that have to start on either side. The funny thing about that is most of those people are very blue collar, very conservative, and they're the same kind of people that be like, oh, this millennial generation just wants to be handed out everything. Yeah. They want all these handouts, all this stuff, and it's like, well, you're arguing for handouts. Yeah. You are arguing for people to play without being qualified to do so. And so that's the thing is I feel like it should be just put the best players in the league on the field because that's going to give you the best product to watch.
All right, let me ask you this question: in your short time of being in the CFL, being around teams, what is your view of the Canadian players that make up your roster?
So, man, really like the most important Canadian guys on our team are really good locker room guys.
No, I'm saying like in terms of talent, what do you see is the difference between a Canadian player and an American player in talent wise?
It comes down to just athleticism. Like it's not there.
You feel like Canadian guys are not as athletic.
No, and the reason, and I'll be honest and say that, and I think the reason being is, and again, I'm talking in general, I'm not talking about the guys that are actually doing this, because there are guys that are as athletic.
There are some Canadian guys that are
there are very athletic
like Enoch
Canadian
Muamba. I think Enoch is a guy who's an exception because he spent time in the NFL, but he's a true Canadian. He's a guy who can actually transition very well between North and South because he spent time in the NFL. He's been on teams. He's played.
Exactly. There's so many.
There's guys out there who can do it.
Like Orlando Franklin was like an 8-year vet. He played for the Chargers. Yeah. He's a Toronto product. He was born in Jamaica.
But that's the thing. The best Canadian guys don't even come to the CFL. They
go to the exactly.
They go to NFL or they even Brett Boyd. You said it. Brett Boyd decided to go to AAF.
He went to the AAF. Yeah, because he did not like he kind of sees. And again, these aren't his words, but just kind of based on conversations we've had about the CFL and anything in general about Canada, because we were the only Canadians on the Chargers at the time, so it was kind of fun to, and he has a very strong Canadian accent, so I was like, I'd be like, oh, Brett, how's it going today, bud? Like, how you doing? And like, and he is, so it was always fun to mess with him, but he, I really think I got the vibe from him that he thought, even though he only really was practice squad, I think he was activated for a few games in the NFL so far. But even though he was practice squad in the NFL, he kind of, I really got the feeling that he felt that going to the CFL or going back to the CFL was a failure for him.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think he would continue playing football if he had to pick the CFL. Personally,
really? That's interesting.
And again,
I know you could be wrong. You never know.
But that's the vibe.
That's an interesting perspective.
And he also picked, again, like you said, he picked the developmental league. He picked the AAF over going back to the CFL. And he's a Canadian player.
And he would get paid a guy with NFL experience.
I'm wondering though, if he came back to the CFL, he would be on rookie contract, right?
He would be because
he would only be making that $54,000 base.
Yeah, well, I guess, but I think rookie Canadians make a little more than that. I mean, that's the base salary.
I'm a rookie Canadian and I got $54,000.
Yeah, but that's based with other stuff in your contract.
Yeah. You can make up to $100,000. Yeah, like bonuses and stuff like that. Yeah, like, that was why it was such a dagger.
No, see, Americans don't get that.
Oh,
no. Listen, I've been on an American rookie contract.
Yeah,
it's 54 base. It's $9,000 for housing.
Okay,
it's another. I want to say $4,000 or $5,000 for playtime.
Total.
Oh
shit.
And
would you get let's say your rookie so you're talking about your.
All right, so listen, my option year in 2016.
Okay.
I basically hit everything in the contract. I was All-Star, CFL All-Star, Lineman of the Year.
You got every bonus. You got all your playtime bonus. You got all your everything.
I maxed out at $79,000.
Damn. That's crazy, dude. Because, like, honestly, so even though I came in week 6, so I don't make any money from before week 6, right? So even though my contract's $54,000, that's broken up between the 18 games.
It's prorated.
I only played.
It's prorated.
Exactly. I only played 12 games, or I was only on the team for 12 games. So my bonus, the way mine was structured, it was 54,000 base, and then every single game, I can't remember what the playtime bonus worked out to. But every game I played more than 51% of.
Yeah,
it's like an 51%. It was an extra 1,000 basically that week.
Yeah,
see, so I think but I missed all.
On American one, it's only an extra 500.
Yeah, okay, so it was like 1,000. It was like 1,000 a game for playing over 51% of the snaps. Now there was the signing bonus as well, then the housing bonus.
Yeah, I didn't get a signing bonus.
Off-season bonus. You didn't get a signing bonus?
No, Americans don't get signing bonus.
Really?
No,
that's huge. Because so the thing you got to understand about bonuses too. So up in Canada, your base salary is taxed basically at 50%. I know it's like just under.
Yeah.
But it's basically 50%. But bonuses are taxed much differently.
15.
So 15%. Well, not all of them. They're all taxed differently. So
well, international guys is 15%.
Regardless, like even for your housing bonus.
No, housing is not taxed.
Yeah, housing. So that's what I'm saying. So signing bonus is 15%. Housing bonus is not taxed. And what's the game bonus tax? Like playtime bonus?
I think it's the same because they added to your. It's basically an additional on top of your play check.
Okay, yeah,
so like how it is if now that I'm a starter and I know I'm gonna get my 51.
Yeah,
it's added onto the total that you get per game. So then they tax it the max.
Oh, so it goes towards like your salary.
Yeah, so say like if based on my base salary, I'm making making $3,500 per game.
Yeah.
And then my play time is an extra $500 or $600.
Yeah.
They add that on
So
top.
then
Then you get taxed
for $4,000
for
or whatever.
$4,000.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, so like that's where it comes into play. Where like my agent, for example, he negotiated for a smaller signing bonus.
Yeah.
But a higher housing bonus because
for international guys, we want more in the signing bonus because it's tax less.
It's tax less. Well, that's the thing. The housing bonus isn't taxed. So like I remember we negotiated for less signing and then more housing.
More housing.
You can't
a lot of guys do that as well. A lot of guys, especially quarterbacks. Quarterbacks put a big chunk of their money in housing because it's not taxed.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like again, like we have an international player and a national player in the CFL talking right now. And just like the differences there, the fact you guys don't get signing bonuses is big, like that, because that's so much money in one check.
Only after your rookie deal, you possibly will get a signing bonus. But if you're straight first time ever come to CFL, you're not getting a signing bonus.
Yeah, that's nuts. So so if you're a second contract, third contract guy,
you got to get to the second one.
The signing bonus.
You got to get to the second one.
Yeah.
And some teams make guys sign a 2-1, so it could be 2-3 years before they even get to the second one, and who knows if they'll even make it.
I mean, I know as draft, like when you're drafted, and I don't know how it works like from round to round, but like first round for sure, you always sign a 2-1.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm on right now.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting too, because I think the last summer there was an addendum saying that the option year is kind of the player's option now. Now it's like if you have another opportunity.
The NFL window.
Oh, it's the NFL window. It's
but
only
you have
for the NFL.
You have to do it before I think a certain date in January. If you don't sign it, if the NFL team doesn't offer you a contract before like January 15th or something,
so after the CFL
then you have
over.
to come back. Then the team picks up your option and you're stuck to it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But that's what's interesting though. Is I think what's getting everybody riled up too is
well, again, it's
so when you talk about
it's also a money thing as well.
That's what I'm saying. We talk about
because American guys feel like you said, you got a Canadian rookie who's playing special teams, even though he's drafted,
or like a backup O lineman,
and he can make, like you said, he can make $100,000.
Yeah,
but you got a American guy that you just signed first time in CFL ever, making 54 or 55 or 56, and he could be a full-time starter, and that's all he's going to get.
And he is a full-time starter,
and that's all he's going to get.
So there's some salt there. You know what I mean? Like you have backups. You have backups making more than starters.
I seen somebody tweeted. A guy tweeted. I can't remember the name, but a guy tweeted. He said, I've teams. I'm pretty sure teams and owners and GMs are in favor of dropping the ratio because they say it's very hard to fill the roster when you're required to have a certain amount of Canadians, because I see somebody tweet something about there's guys that I have to sign and play even though they have no business playing.
Yeah, that was
a
big tweet. We got to find that. I will pull this tweet up in a second.
He said I had 3 GMs at least tell me I gotta play guys who have no business even playing because I have to meet ratio requirements.
Yeah, and I think
if
that's
you
a
add a
huge
10th
point.
team, it's going to stretch it even further.
Exactly.
Now you add another team who has to field at least 20-something, 22 or 23 Canadians.
When the pickings
and
are
7
so
have
slim.
to be starters.
Exactly, and the pickings are so slim too with Canadian talent.
It's slim.
Again, there are Canadian guys
Again,
here,
that's what CFL 2.0 presents.
Yeah.
People were so for CFL 2.0, but now things are going along, it's starting to make more sense to me. I think also CFL 2.0 is also a response to having to field such good Canadians outside of American guys wanting to go to the AAF or the XFL. Also, how do you field enough quality Canadian guys to start on a team? Mm-hmm. Now, if you drop it to 5, and from what I'm hearing, another report saying Ambrosi wants to make at least 2 spots for other internationals.
Strictly for the other internationals?
Not Americans.
It was like I think it was episode 2, it was either 1 or 2 where we were talking about this, and I was saying, like, honestly, like, you can't, like, why not use the international or the national spots for some international players from, like, Mexico or, like, the rest?
Yeah.
Because, like, really, they're going to be, like, the same level of play.
Well, that was another
so, like,
discussion saying that if the other international guys would get national status.
Exactly, yeah. So if you...
I think that's another big topic, too, that should be negotiated in the PA. I think if you got an American guy who's played up here for at least 4 or 5 seasons, give him national status. Why not? I heard they did it in the past.
Really?
I heard they did in the past.
That would be an interesting, like, addendum.
But that helps, though. If you could get 2 star Americans that you have that you know are going to be there for a while.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to
and
be there.
And you can count them, even
That's
include
the thing,
quarterbacks.
Is if you've been playing really
what
well.
if you could count a Bo Levi Mitchell or Mike Riley as a national?
That's what I'm saying. And that's the thing is if you could, and Bo Levi Mitchell and Mike Riley are never going to the NFL. So it's like they are.
Hey, Bo, I didn't say it, Bo. I love
said
you.
it.
You could have went this year.
Well, yeah, you probably could have this year.
He chose not to because
not
the
to.
situation wasn't.
Well, that's the thing
ideal.
Is honestly, he probably never would have been the man on any NFL team, and the CFL gave him an opportunity to be the man on a team because the talent level is lower.
I'm not.
I'll say it.
Bo. It's not me, Bo. I love you.
No, yeah. I'll say it. Like I'm not saying Bo's a bad player. He's just got a $2.8 million contract.
But he just signed a 4-year deal.
That's what
Riley
I'm saying.
just signed a 4. So you know they're going to be here for 4 years.
Yeah, they're going to be here for 4 years. But that's
why not count them as nationals?
Exactly, because they're not going to go anywhere else either. It's like because at the end of 4 years, well, they've been removed from college. They're going to be like what?
Yeah.
What? How? In their 30s, like 32. No
yeah,
NFL team is going to take a
32-year-old. That's still pretty young.
Yeah, pretty young, but no NFL team is going to take a 31-year-old Bo Levi Mitchell from the CFL when he's got.
That's possible. Flutie did it.
You know what? That is true.
Flutie did it.
That is true. But again, we're talking about the outliers. Like Flutie is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Like that's different.
Yeah.
Like he's an NFL Hall of Famer. You know
Bo's a CFL Hall of Famer.
Bo's a CFL
right
Hall of Famer, yeah, but Doug Flutie is an NFL Hall of Famer. Like
well, that's because he got a shot to be.
He's a freak. You're right. So you got to give those guys those shots. I'm just saying it's not. What I'm saying is it's not likely. So those guys, it's really not like.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I understand that. No, and I appreciate it. That's the point of this podcast is like to get these different views. And no, but really though, I wouldn't have personally as a national player. I really wouldn't have a problem with.
Yeah, but I mean that honestly, I think if you got a guy who, well, I think the caveat should be if you sign a multi-year deal,
exactly,
then you can be counted as a national.
Yeah. So like if you sign like a 4-year longer deal, then you can be a national player.
Then you can count as a national.
Because you're gonna be here.
Yeah,
you're locked in. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like that would be a really good play.
And some guaranteed money will then make it hard for roster turnover as well.
Exactly. I think that'd be important. And honestly, like if that was the rule, like if you
if you give those guys national status, it adds to their trade value.
Exactly. And it makes a better league, and I think that's interesting. Yeah. And I think you wouldn't even have to mess with the ratio if that was a rule. You wouldn't
have to mess with the ratio. But again, the argument would be with Canadian people would be like, oh, why are you counting internationals as nationals?
He's not a Canadian
Now you're
citizen.
giving less of a shot to actual nationals to make the thing with and I've heard it from Canadian players as well that it's always I seen my teammate S.A. I always mess up S.A.'s last name. Marab I love you. I'm sorry I'm butchering your last name, but Marab I think is how it's pronounced. I may be fucking it up. I'm probably fucking it up. But S.A. tweeted that he knows guys of Canadian national status that didn't get a shot in the CFL because of biases towards Canadian players. But again, I mean, he may be right. I'm not saying he's wrong. I don't know. I got a different bias because as an American, in my view of a good football player is probably completely different from a Canadian guy of his view 100%. Of a good football player. Yeah. So, from my perspective, I may disagree with it, but from his, I can see what he's saying. Yeah. He's saying that already that the ratio being 7 already limits the amount of good Canadians that could play in the CFL, but I mean,
are there like really when you see like
are there more?
No,
I don't know.
They're not because like no. So
I don't
you
know.
asked me earlier in this episode, what do you think of the Canadian talent, like the Canadian players
like
that are those 7 stars?
Talent.
So like when you're starting 7 Canadian players, it's absolutely apparent that at least 1 or 2 of those 7 are out there because they have to fill the spot. And that's why, like, a player like me, a fake Canadian, a.k.a. fake Canadian...
Are a hot commodity.
Because now I can... Let's say, now we can start...
Alex Singleton.
That's what I'm saying. We can start 5 Canadian O-linemen. So I count as a Canadian O-lineman. That way we don't have... Like, and it's literally, I say have to. That way we don't have to start a Canadian receiver. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Or a Canadian DB.
I mean, from my perspective, at least the Canadian receivers that I've known, they're pretty good.
The receivers, yeah. The
Canadian receivers are pretty good.
Receiver, in my opinion, is probably the
best.
But
it's mostly
Canadian
the guys
position.
who have... But most of the Canadian receivers that are... No, let me not say that, because some of them are CIS guys.
Actually, no, you know what? I honestly, as far as Canadians go, I won't say like left tackle in general, but like I think like interior O-lineman is probably the best Canadian position. because
I get currently right now.
currently,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then
Like in
receiver.
terms of Canadian talent.
Yeah, I'd probably say
might be right.
I'd probably say the worst position as far as Canadian talent goes is DB.
You might have a point there.
Personally, and the reason being is because American DBs are like, I don't really get along with a lot of DBs because I don't even know how to act around them because they're just such dogs. Like, they're so hungry. All of them have little man syndrome. All of them like damn near all of them came out of somewhere where like they have to take care of like their family or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like DBs are the scrappiest players on the field.
Coming.
No, yeah.
No, I'm
D-biases. yeah. I like, that's the thing is there's no polar opposite on the field than an O lineman and a DB.
Yeah, but those are the guys who interact the most though.
Oh yeah.
Because I know DBs who think like, oh, O lineman can't block them. I know and then us O linemen, we think like DBs are the weakest but toughest guys on the field. So
exactly.
it upsets us because we're like, bro, I will run you over.
Yeah, but they're so scrappy, they'll get up and they'll still spit on you and like talk shit, and you know what I mean. Like, I had a dude. We played Washington my redshirt sophomore year.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of my best games in my college career. Like, I was just destroying Washington. They were all so salty, hitting me after the play, all this stuff, and it was a constant chatter from me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a point to never shut the fuck up all game.
Yeah.
And there was this one safety. His number, I need to go back and look at the roster what his name was. He was number 1 on Washington in 2013. So if you want to go look it up, we'll find him. But I was in this boy's head, like, because I got up to him. He's a safety, and I got up to block him like 5 times that game, and I pancaked him 3 of those times. Ooh. And I was on his ass, constantly talking shit, 100%. And he would stand up, like, and then finally it was like third quarter. He started trying to spit at me. And
I had a guy spit on me.
Oh yeah. Oh no. This is where it gets crazy. He was spitting at me. I was like, "You spit." I was like, "That's some I Love New York shit. Like, that's some like Flavor of Love shit. You bitch." All this stuff getting on him. And then he hit me. I said Flavor of Love because, like, you remember that, like, when I Love New York.
That's an embarrassing the fucking O-line.
What? You didn't watch that shit when you were like 12?
But you use it as a reference.
Oh yeah, because you spit. It's like the most. That was like the spit heard around the world.
That's embarrassing.
Anyway, so then he hits me in the chest with the next time he spits, and I wipe it off and I lick it.
No, you didn't.
I did. I went like this. I went.
That's disgusting.
It doesn't do shit. I was like, you can't break me. And dude, he didn't open his mouth the rest of the game. He's like, oh my god, this crazy white boy. I don't even know what to do with him anymore. Yeah, that's
disgusting. I would think you're fucking crazy if you lick my spit.
Well, first off, why would you be spitting on me in the first place?
Yo,
no.
What?
But DBs are crazy. That's the point of the story.
That's a white O-line thing. Only white O-linemen do psychotic shit like that.
Because
Because I would never, if a dude spit on me, I'm fighting. I'm not thinking, oh, let me lick it to fucking psych him out.
Is he wants you to fight him. He wants to get in your head, and all I was showing him.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fight him. I'm not gonna fight him during the game. I'm not gonna say anything.
No, all I was saying is like,
I'm gonna meet him in the tunnel.
Yeah, see me, I'm like,
we're gonna scrap.
Oh, you can't get in my head because I've
scrap.
mentally fucked you up so bad that you're trying to spit on another man. That's
you
spit
is the
on
most
me. Female thing I've ever heard.
Spit on me, I'm getting disrespectful.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna try to fuck your wife, your girlfriend, your mother, your sister. I don't care.
No, I hear you. I just felt like, but I feel like now it's like all right. Well, you scrap with somebody after the game, cool, it's over, and it's like kind of like, you know, when you get in a fight, it's over after that. You know what I mean? Like, things are quashed, like whatever. But if you've mentally fucked that dude up, I guarantee you that dude still thinks of that game. He still thinks of me personally, like, fuck that guy.
I had a guy do it to me. He claims he didn't spit on me. I don't know if he did. Maybe he blew a kiss. Something came out of it. I think he thinks he tried to blow a kiss at me to call me sweet, but something came out of his mouth and hit me. And I was vexed. But
I was vexed.
It's mid-game, and I'm like, bro, if I get, and like me, I'm a very cerebral football player. So if I'm on the field, my mind's working like 1,000 miles an hour 100%. In all types of scenarios.
Yeah.
And of course, the first thing that comes to mind is,
and you're daydreaming.
I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, man, if I come out the game, you know what I'm saying, like, what's it gonna do to the team?
That's the thing. It's like that was my game because I knew you can't.
So I held it in.
Oh yeah.
I held it in.
Oh no,
after the game. No,
you
but
let it out during the game. It made you angry for the game. Bro, you played better because of it. I know you did.
I was looking for the dude after the game. Like, I wasn't even trying to talk to my family. Yes. I was looking at their locker room door, waiting for him to walk out.
Yeah, your family,
waiting.
Your family's sitting by you. Great game, Derek. And you're
Yes,
like, yeah,
and they're looking at me
cool,
like, Derek,
word,
why are you so mad?
word.
They were like, yo, why were you flipping out on the field? And I'm like, yo, this motherfucker spit on me. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, this motherfucker spit on me. Apparently, but from what I hear, he left the stadium or whatever. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I know I was mad. I wanted to fight. All I was thinking about, I just wanted to fight. I didn't care what came of it afterwards. I didn't care if they suspended me and told me I could never play the CFL again. I did not give two. I just wanted to fight.
Yeah.
I probably would have fought anybody that day. If somebody would have came to me and said something left wing, I probably would have just hooked him. I would have just hooked him. I would have just hooked him.
Hey, Derek played a shitty game. Boom.
Boom. I would have hooked him. And, like, a fan would have walked to me and be like, Dennis, you suck. Boom. Get out my face right now. Like, I'm vexed.
Yes, I'm vexed.
Man.
I love that. I'm going to start using that. God, I'm so vexed. I'm so vexed right now.
Off topic. Yes. But, again, back to the topics. Yes, the racial rule. I just, listen, for some reason now I have the stigma. I don't, listen, I love this podcast. It's fun. I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm not going to stop being me. I'm not going to stop talking or whatever.
Why would you?
But apparently people are really upset with me because they feel like I'm king shit starter now. Like, I have the stigma now, king shit starter. People think I got a big spoon and I'm just stirring the pot always. I'm just stirring the pot all day.
No, you're not stirring the pot. You're asking
I'm not.
questions.
I'm just asking
questions.
the
questions. You're getting the conversation.
That's
going, which
it.
Is fine.
Why is it that when a football player wants to just start dialogue and conversation, now I'm a shit starter?
And I
so
think,
now apparently between players, because it's been said too many times between too many people, apparently now I'm just looking for shit to get into, and I'm just starting shit just to try to create something so I can have something to talk about, or just to
give
create
you
some type of attention for myself.
Yep.
Do I look like the motherfucker who needs attention?
Self-suck 100%. 100% self-suck. But no, you're right.
But I'm serious.
No, you're right.
Do I look like a dude who needs attention?
No,
I don't need it.
No, you're there.
I get mad now from walking around and people just looking at me and going, God damn, who the hell is that big guy? Right. I don't need any attention. I don't really want it.
Nah.
But it comes to me. It just naturally comes to me.
Well,
I don't know if
even if you didn't play football, if you were the same size and stature as us, people think you play
people
something.
Would think
so they come
I
up and
did
ask.
something. Yeah.
Every time you walk into a restaurant, people are watching you walk by.
Yes.
Every time you walk into anywhere.
I hated that people look at me and
man.
go, "Oh, you must play football."
All right, so you ball player?
Oh yeah, you play ball.
Yeah, I played high school football. I went to
last weekend. I went to the goddamn Ostrich Festival out here, which is a great time. I love the Ostrich Festival.
Shout out Chandler, Arizona.
Shout out Chandler, Arizona. I love the Ostrich Festival. But I took my family to the Ostrich Festival, and the security guard, as I'm going through security, before I even get to him, I could tell he was eyeballing me the whole time. Soon as I get to him, he goes, "Who do you play for?" He doesn't say, "Hello, sir, how you doing? How's your day going?"
Why, bro? Because I'm black?
He just looks at me and goes, "Oh, who do you play for?" I go, "Oh," I just laugh. And my girl and my son is there. They look at me. We're all looking at each other laughing. I just laugh and go, "Oh, well, I play in the Canadian Football League." And you know what the funny part is? He thought I was bullshitting. He thought I was just talking shit. He goes, "Nah, for real. Who do you play for?" Like, he thought I was in the NFL.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm in the Canadian Football League. He goes, "Nah, for real. Like, stop playing. Who do you play for?"
You're like, well, if you're looking for an NFL stature, I've played.
No.
I've played.
I said,
for
"No,
the
I don't play NFL, sir. I used to. I don't play anymore." And he can tell by the look on his face, he thought I was lying.
Like, why? Like, what do I get out of lying to you?
What?
Like, who do you think I am? You think I'm like
that is what American people think of the CFL people. When an actual CFL player tells someone I play in the CFL, they think it's a joke.
Because they expect you to be in the NFL.
Because they expect a big dude in the States.
They're like, no, dude, like the CFL is not good enough. There's no way you play there. Like,
no.
Who do you play for?
Yeah.
Like, why are you hiding your identity? You must be famous. Yeah.
So apparently, whatever attention I'm looking for, I'm not getting it anyway.
Yeah.
But that ain't the attention I'm looking for.
And I think what's going on too is you're bringing up topics that need to
talk about.
They need to be talked about, but like people shy away from them because it's it's uncomfortable conversation.
And it's not even that. I'm just creating dialogue. That's what honestly, I think that's what makes the CFL great is the fact that us as players can have interaction with media and fans and talk smack between teams and players and all that. I think that's what makes the CFL great. The fact that it's
you can
so
be more
personal.
Yourself. Yeah,
it's
you
so
can be
personable.
more yourself in the CFL.
Yes,
like
you can
the
be
NFL,
yourself.
NFL, there's so much
But
money involved
apparently,
and so much worry about
a lot of guys don't
money.
like me. They don't like me because they think I talk too much shit.
It's
I didn't had. Listen, I'm gonna start naming names now.
Let's
I
go.
don't give a fuck.
Let's go.
I done had Adam Big Hill tell me that I'm too loud.
Yep.
I done had Frank Beltray tell me that I go on Twitter looking for shit to start because I don't get enough attention in my daily life. What? What? I done had goddamn guys I played with before. My friend Peter Diakowski just wrote me a DM and told me that I look like I hold a big spoon in my hand daily.
Like stirring the pot.
Yes, I'm like, bro, I don't even do anything.
No, that's what's funny too.
Dudes actually hit my phone and asked me to say it because they too scared to say it.
No, that's what's funny too, is because not one person has hit me up. Not one person has hit my DM. Not one person has hit that, like based like for negativity, right?
Yeah.
Like, only people that have hit my DMs are like, hey, I love what you guys are doing at the show. The fans are like, I love what you guys are doing the show. Keep it up, kind of thing.
I get
Give
I
me a
get
shout
both.
out. Yeah, so like that's things, but no
Guys will tell me, hey, I love the show. It's a great idea. I love what you're doing. And then as soon as I say something slightly off that they don't like, oh yeah, all you do is talk shit. You're a cancer. You're this. You're
that's
that.
the thing. It's
I'm like, bro, what the hell did I do?
Well, so many people aren't open-minded enough to like hear something they don't want to hear and then think about it. And even if we're the ones that are wrong, even if you're the one that's wrong, it's like if they came at you with an argument that made sense, you would have accepted
my opinions. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I don't never say nothing.
You don't say it's fact
line.
either. You don't ever say it's fact either. You're like, this is my opinion.
It's just my opinion.
If you can convince me otherwise, you'll be convinced.
And
like,
people always try to make it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I'm just like, I should just shut up. Like, I'm dumb. I don't like, bro. If you know anybody who knows me and talks to me, they know I'm not an idiot. I don't say stuff just to say it. If I'm gonna say something or if I'm gonna give you my opinion, I'm going to have some type of science or fact behind it to back it up. Because I've learned that if you just talk out your ass, people are going to try to call you on it. Because they just want to make you look dumb.
That's why even on this
people get a kick out of just making people look stupid.
That's the thing. Because it's like...
Why?
Because it gives people like that sense of like, I outsmarted the CFL player.
I'm smarter than you.
It's like, go join Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader with fucking... What is his name? Dude is a comedian.
Know the name,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Damn it.
And those fifth graders are always smarter than
and they're always smarter.
They're always smarter.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Are you smarter than a CFL player? Calm down. What's your prize?
Yeah, but even like
personal self,
even like talking football
confidence
with fans. Like I want to talk football with fans just to get, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's always funny to get their perspective too, because
get
it's
their
very
perspective
different.
and just educate.
Yeah.
But even when I talk football with like guys who used to play, that's the worst people I hate talking football with. Is
You're
guys
right.
who used to play
because you always
or
look
thought
back
they
on
could have played but didn't.
That's the worst. Now that is the worst. Guys that thought they could have played but didn't. That is the worst. Because like, oh my god.
Oh my
like,
god.
How many people have you talked to that have asked you if you were an NFL or CFL player, and you're like, yeah, I played in the CFL. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, like I was a running back, and like first off, this will be like a white guy that's like 5'5". And he'll be like, yeah, I was a running back in high school. I was really, really good. I was probably like, I would have gone to the league, but I sprained my ankle my senior year, so it really hurt my like highlight tape.
You know what league is full of guys like that?
Recruited.
You know what league is full of guys like that?
What's that?
Indoor or arena football.
Oh, I bet it is chock full.
Those guys talk shit about anybody that's higher than them all fucking day. And I only know that because I've been in an arena football locker room. I am a former arena player. And I've been there. And even when I was playing arena, I know I used to talk shit like, God, this guy's still in that fucking NFL. I'm better than him. Yeah. But I'm here fucking playing on fucking 50 yards of fucking street
And it's hard. It's hard not to be that guy too, because like it's inevitable. You're gonna be better. Like if you're at least a decent player,
I feel like hate is a natural human instinct at this point.
At this
people
point,
especially
because of Instagram, social media.
No one knows how to share any type of positivity, any type of, and even if so, if I say anything negative about someone, I'm not saying it because I hate them or because I'm just going off of what I see. If I see something, I'm just gonna be like, listen,
we keep it
this is
real.
what I see.
We keep it real on Inside.
I'm not gonna tell somebody I suck just to try to psych them out, and I know damn well they don't suck. If I know you don't suck, I'm not gonna tell you suck.
No. Why would you?
I'm gonna find some other way to disrespect you, but I'm not gonna tell you you suck. I know you don't suck. If I tell you suck, then clearly I'm looking at you play and I'm going, that guy.
Because you think he sucks.
You fucking suck.
You're not saying it from a place of like self-consciousness.
No, I'm not saying
like
to try to belittle someone or make myself feel
better.
Any better. Because I'm not gonna tell a guy who I know is a better football player. I'm not gonna tell him he sucks.
Yeah, you're not gonna go up to like Taylor Wine or like.
No, I'm not gonna go up to him and be like, bro, you're shitty.
You're trash. Or dude, who was that dude that just? Oh my god, he got so paid. Trey, give me that.
Oh, Trey Brown.
Trey Brown. Ooh,
I mean, honestly, I'll be honest though. I don't think Trent is worth that type of money.
Well, I don't think he's worth that type of money, but like,
but he's an NFL player.
I think he's worth I think he's worth like 50, but 80. What did
he
get? 87.
Honestly, he
got like 87 or 87 million.
No, 66 million. He got 66 million.
Thank God.
He's not more paid than Taylor Lewan, but he's close.
No, he's not. Yeah,
he's close.
And I don't think he's as good as Taylor Lewan.
He got like 30-something guaranteed.
Goo. He's set. That's like generational wealth if you do the right things with it.
If you do the right things with it. That's the key right there.
Oh my God.
That's the key. But again, I don't want to talk about NFL salaries because I'm always salty about that.
It's gonna make you sick.
It'll
make you sick.
I'm forever salty about that. But I can't hate on those dudes. Those dudes are
they're good.
They're good, man.
If there's going to be somebody paid, at least pay the best guys, and those guys are up there, so might as well pay them.
Yeah.
And at least O-linemen are getting paid. I love to see O-linemen get paid. Yes. It always makes me super happy. But that's the thing, though, is back to the CBA conversation. What have you seen, Derek, as far as, like, what do you think is coming out of the conversations? Like, what kind of progress do you think is being made? Because, when we were talking about the ratio rule and you have – there's Americans that are CFLPA reps, and
it's not enough though. I don't think American guys have enough representation in the PA. My personal opinion, and just off of stuff that I hear from other guys and just talking. But I mean, that's not my place to talk on it. If American guys want better representation in the PA, then we need to.
They got to get more involved.
Yeah,
because that's the thing is this the Canadian players? What I've noticed, there's a lot more Canadian players obviously in the CFLPA than there are American.
Yeah, but it's the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, they own the league.
And I do feel like I do feel like we are a unified group, and we all want the same things. It is natural for you, if you have a certain national status and a certain upbringing and background, to just feel a certain way about certain topics.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, I don't really expect a Canadian player to really look at the full picture the same way I look at it, because it's two different lenses, to be honest. And I think that's probably the biggest hindrance on the PA, is that because we have we're the only football league, and mainly the only league who has to look at topics in a different light in that sense, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like NHL players don't have that issue between Americans or international guys or whatever that's playing in the NHL, because they all get paid in the same currency. They all under the same contract stipulations. It's like guys like that, they just don't have to worry about that. In the CFL, which is what makes us unique, is the fact that we have national players, we have international players, and because you have international players who are getting paid in a different currency that they're not accustomed to and they're not familiar with, it creates, and
it's colored really strangely.
Yeah, I like Canadian money. It reminds me of Monopoly,
and it's like Canadian money is damn near indestructible.
It's like literally like Monopoly money.
Yeah, but Monopoly colors. Money you can rip. Canadian money,
you
like
can't.
What I like about it, it's like indestructible.
Yeah, I like that as well.
It's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
But again, my point is that when you got, and now that you're bringing in other international dynamics into it, it creates a melting pot in the sports world that's very unheard of, and it's very hard to try to meet certain demands for everybody. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, you're right.
You're never going to meet the demands of everybody.
Yeah, and you're never really, truly going to find that middle ground everybody agrees.
So my biggest thing is that guys need to, I feel like I feel like guys need to find a way to kind of remove themselves from their everyday norms in the sense of looking at things.
Yeah.
Because the PA does
Keep a
have
really
a lot of
open
Canadian
mind.
guys.
Yeah.
They also have to look at, but it's hard to ask a Canadian guy who's a PA rep to look through the lens of an American guy because he doesn't deal with those same circumstances.
Derek, are you saying that the CFLPA should go to a second meeting where they all take mushrooms together? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. Honestly, to be honest, I think all these meetings are bullshit.
Just kind of like they do them. Well, they do them because they have to pass the time. There's really not.
I think they already know what they're going to do.
Or they do it to feel official, kind of thing.
I think they already know what's going to come of it, and they kind of already know what's going to be and what's not going to be. I just feel like these meetings are just filler.
Okay, so I'm gonna preemptive off topic fine here. So kind of a filler. Let me tell you about another filler meeting. That would be so much fun.
What?
The National Football League's I think it's an annual conference they do, or maybe it's like biannual or like before a CBA. I don't know when they do it. But
they're gonna have a lockout already.
Oh no, they just went to Miami, and it's a paid trip.
Oh yeah.
Anybody that plays in the NFL, you go to Miami, you go to this conference.
What's the name just went? Dennis.
Yeah, Derek. Yeah. I almost said Derek Dennis. Dennis Gardeck, who is a undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
But he made the roster on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And this dude is like your typical. And I was telling him when he was training for his pro days, he's not getting any looks. He got a lot of help because he worked out at Fisher, and Fisher's the head trainer at the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And Fisher was probably in that building every day, going, "Yo, I know I'm not a scout. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Give him a workout. Give him a 15-minute workout." And he made it because he's a good athlete, and he's he's one of the hardest workers ever.
I like Dennis.
I love Dennis.
I love Dennis.
He works really hard, but so he deserves his spot is what I'm saying. But why we're bringing him up is because anybody can go to this meeting if you're in the NFL, and he's an undrafted rookie free agent. He pretty much just plays special teams.
Most guys don't know about it.
Yeah, most guys don't know about it, but it's a paid trip to where this conference is. This year is in Miami. You're telling me I could get a paid trip to Miami and go to a conference? Dope. The CFL needs to do something like that, where everybody gets together.
I brought this up in the tweet to when I was talking to Josiah St. John. I said I think to build my opinion,
camaraderie.
Yeah, but my opinion on building grassroots in Canada to get more Canadian kids involved is I feel like the CFL should do like what the NFL does with Play 60. Just have paid opportunities to run camps all off season, and just have guys come in whatever respective city, or bring guys to whatever prospective area that you think football is popular, or you could get an indoor facility or something. Just run a bunch of off-season camps and pay guys.
So what I'm gonna
I'll give you $1,000, put you in a hotel for a day or two.
Yep.
Come to this camp and come interact with these kids.
So what I'm gonna start working.
That's what CFL week was, but they canceled it because of the commissioner canceled CFL week because of CBA talks.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, because they wouldn't pay the guys that came out to run it?
Well, again, that was a whole nother thing about guys not doing anything for the league because they decided to hold bonuses.
Yeah, so why would you do?
Why would you do
they're holding bonuses that were agreed upon in the current CBA. Like, okay,
and it doesn't expire until May.
It doesn't expire until May. So again, if we're locked out and we're in negotiations, right? I understand not getting the reporting bonus until like the negotiations are done and we can report. I get that. Yeah, I don't get withholding money that was agreed upon in the current CBA.
Again,
it doesn't count.
Why are you holding a free agency frenzy and you're giving guys signing bonuses that you're not going to pay? What is the point of that?
Exactly. And let me tell you what is the point is because guys like us, even you, which is you're one of the highest paid American O-linemen in the CFL, you're one of them. You're up there.
Kind of.
Yeah. I'd say like at least top quartile.
I think I might be number 6 or 5.
Yeah. So like top 10, right?
Yeah. It's only 9 teams.
Yeah, exactly. You're a top 10 paid O-lineman in American, and you still have to find your way to work in the off season, right? And the reason they're doing it is to squeeze us so we come to an agreement quicker because guys need it to feed their families. Guys need it to pay their rent.
Right.
And like me, for example, I'm looking at my bank account. I'm like, okay, like I'm pretty sure I can get through, but worst comes to worst. Luckily, I have parents that'll just like
I can't.
Yeah. See,
conversion rate,
conversion rate is murder, and not to mention like the transaction.
I had
fees.
to pay 2 rents for 6. That again, I had to pay to get. I think again that's why a lot of American guys are looking at these other leagues partially too because when I come to Canada for 6 months, I got to pay 2 rents.
2 rents
because my family can't come with me.
No.
My girl has her own career in life that she has going on here
in the States, yeah.
Back in the States.
And she doesn't have her work visa up in Canada. She can't move to Canada.
I can't expect her to uproot and come with me for 6 months.
And work visas take a long time to get. Like, so my wife, she's not Canadian because the way Canadian citizenship works, the way I got it, it's only one generation deep if you don't live in Canada.
Yeah.
So we would have to live in Canada for her to, like, for a long time for her to apply for citizenship.
Yeah.
But then her work visa, if she was to work on a work visa, well, let's say she started right now. It's March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not wearing green. I'm pinching myself. Yeah. I'm pinching you. You're not wearing green.
I was gonna wear green.
I know. We really farked that up.
I was gonna. I know what? I told myself too to wear green and give a shout out for St. Patrick's Day, and I completely forgot.
It's all right. There's green in the shot. Oregon, shout out. Oh, let's go. What is that? Is that a cell site?
I just wanted to ding you for that, just because you just love Oregon so fucking much.
I love Oregon so much, dude. It's such a great program.
Oh my god.
Well, the reason I have to look for any
double
more work
ding
is
for saying "oh my god" at the same time. Okay, but yeah.
Really, yeah, you know what I mean though. Like, it takes a long time to get a work visa. Like, so if my wife applied for it right now, she probably wouldn't have a work visa until after this next season's over, even. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like we're kind of like debating if we're even going to work for it because it's like a stressful process. It takes forever.
It is.
And the way the Canadian government works is really. And let me tell
They're
you
super
first.
Strict.
Strict. But let me tell you
can't
firsthand.
cross the border with a DUI.
No, yeah. No, like I have a cousin who got in a little trouble and like 10 years ago, and he's Canadian though, and he just got the paperwork done.
Yeah.
And was approved to be able to travel to the States again. It was like a decade, and it wasn't like a big crime or anything like that. Like it was like probably misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it
they're
took
super
forever.
strict in Canada.
But let me tell you firsthand, when I was getting my citizenship done, they're so behind on like the technology and shit that like you can't even check the status of your application. Like, you send in your application, a couple months go by, and you're like, I don't even know if they got it. Like, I don't
everything's
even know.
by mail still up there. Nothing's electronic.
No, and it's like yeah, like I'm on their website and stuff, and it's like, okay, do this to check the status of your thing, and I check the status, and it's like it doesn't exist yet because they don't have it. And then like the only thing that happens is like 2 months went by, and then all of a sudden I got something in the mail. And it was my application and all the documents, and it was like, you didn't provide the correct documents.
The first time I filed taxes in Canada, it took them 7 months to get my tax return back to me.
Oh my god, I haven't even started this year. Fuck.
Don't even worry about it. It's good.
But yeah, that's the thing though. It's a frustrating process. So it's like they're squeezing us. They're squeezing us so that we just come to an agreement so we can get
I honestly
paid.
think the league leaked this information because it causes
they leaked
divide.
the information?
Yeah, because it's causing divide in the PA.
Exactly. There's so many strategies to get this CBA negotiated
I just
quickly
tweeted that.
and in the
I said,
CFL's
listen.
favor.
I said, honestly, this is my message to CFL guys who listen to this podcast or will eventually listen to it, or just to, if you get this deep into it. But honestly, in my personal opinion, I think guys just got to chill. Just relax. Let the PA do what they do. Let the dust settle.
Yeah.
And figure out what you're going to do from there. Because honestly, that's why I kind of chilled on the Twitter rants and going off, like, because in the beginning of the season I was going crazy, and I finally kind of just sat back and relaxed and just realized that honestly, yes, people pay attention to what I say, they hear what I say, but it doesn't cause any type of change. It doesn't cause anybody to sit back and go, oh, maybe we're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the few guys who are.
You're not changing your reps' mind.
I talk to my PA reps.
Yeah.
I talk to, you know what I'm saying? I talk to guys around the league. Like, I talk to people. So don't think I'm just here I'm just talking shit, and I'm not actually going there and trying to get my points across to the people that need to hear it. I do. Again, I think guys just got to sit back, chill. I know this whole holding bonuses is putting a lot of pressure on a lot of guys. For me talking to a lot of guys, from myself, my personal situation, what I'm going through, I know it. It's hard on all of us.
Yeah.
All of us.
It's funny seeing the
maybe outside of maybe the quarterbacks are probably the only guys who are not fucking fretting at all.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I brought up we train with we're the only CFL players, Derek and I, and then Andrew. We're the only CFL guys that train in our training facility. The rest of the guys are all NFL guys, either looking for work or they're on like big time contracts too. Like we train from some high contract guys, we train from some paid guys.
Pro football is a full-time job.
Yeah, and no, I brought
very
up
hard to try to be a pro football player and think you're going to work a second job.
Yeah,
it's not,
so like
go that
when
way.
I brought up our struggle to the NFL guys and said like, well, they're holding our off-season bonuses in order because like we can't make it through, and like in order to squeeze us and not have a lockout situation or a strike situation. The NFL guys were like, oh yeah, just lock out until you get what you want. Exactly. And it's like, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say,
but it's
because you have the money to make it through the off season. But
it's not gonna happen.
But the CFL guys, we don't have the money to make it through.
The NFL PA is those guys get Madden checks. They get a whole lot of other luxuries that we
Madden
don't get.
check. So for those who don't know, you get a Madden
video
check
game.
Every year
player gets a check.
Yeah, every year you're in the
$20 grand.
Yeah, it's $20 grand the next year. So like I was a IR player all 2016. And then
after tax, it's about 16 to 17.
18, yeah, it's like 18 grand.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even make it back to the league, but I still get my Madden check. I got my Madden check in August of 2017, even though I wasn't in the league because I was on the Madden game in 2016.
Yeah. As long as you're on the game, you get a check.
As long as you make a team, which being on IR is considered making a
after
team.
week one. No, you gotta do is be on a roster for week one. You're gonna get a Madden check.
Because you made it in the game.
Because you made it in the game.
Exactly. So you get a Madden check, and so there's. And that has nothing really to do with the NFL. It's EA Sports. Like EA Sports plays those players. But again, so it's like you have ways to make money, and you get like so much money that you don't even really know is coming to you in the NFL. That was my biggest thing. When
NFL has tons of ways for guys who are underpaid to make money.
You're
on an undrafted contract and you play more snaps than you're supposed to. You get a
fat playtime bonus.
Yeah,
like Spencer Pulley, the guy we were talking about.
I forgot what they call
episode.
it. They call it
it's playtime. It's player performance.
Player performance. They call it a player performance check.
And it's
if you outplay your contract, they will compensate you for it.
So everybody in the league gets a player performance check, right? But the reason for the player performance check in the NFL is to even that divide between high contract players, like guys that are making a lot of money that aren't really playing, and then like the guys that aren't making a lot of money that are playing a lot. Yeah. So it's like the bigger your contract is, the less money you get per snap, and the smaller contract that you have. Let's say like
the more money you get.
So like
per snap.
Spencer Pulley, I always bring him up because he's like one of my best friends, and he signed that big contract I was talking about last episode.
Yeah.
And his player performance bonus, his second season where he started every single game for the Chargers on an undrafted free agent. Yeah. He was on minimum contract.
Yes, we know Spencer Pulley's situations, Tyler. You told us about 3 times.
I know. Well, hey, you never know if we might have a new listener this episode. So, so he's on a minimum contract. He basically doubled his salary in player performance. So you get paid more if you're paid less, basically.
Yeah, but again, we don't have that type of stuff doesn't happen. So, like, say the highest paid American left tackle, and I'm on a rookie contract playing left tackle, and I play just as good as him. Normally, in the NFL, they will compensate you to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah, and it won't bridge it completely, obviously.
It won't bridge it completely.
But you get paid, like, for example, if you're on minimum in the NFL, if you're on a minimum contract, you're making like an extra $400 or $300 before taxes per snap. So, like, let's say you pay 100 snaps a game. Like, you got 100 plays on offense, and maybe you play some special teams. Yeah. So you get 100 snaps. You made an extra, like, you made like a $4,000 bonus that game. Yeah. And it's fat, and like that's big time. But like, let's say it's like Phillip Rivers, the same team. He probably makes like, I don't even know, but it can't be more than like $50 a snap. Like, because he still gets a play performance bonus, but like he's extra,
but it's not big. Yeah.
No, it's small.
But he still gets one though. That's the
thing.
Key.
Everybody gets a performance.
Everybody
bonus.
Gets one.
Yep.
Again,
and there's so much money in the league that you don't even know is coming to you. Like there was checks I would get. I'd be like, what? I literally it'd be like a $5,000 check, and it'd be like, what's this for? And it's like, oh, because we did like this. You know, we did a community thing like last week. Remember that? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, we got $5,000 for that. Dope. Like I didn't even know I'd have this money.
Yeah, that's
there's nothing like that.
That's how it is. But again, that was my points. I think the CFL should do is that there's so much talk about how much money CFL doesn't have, which again that comes from the fan support that it gets from people in the country, and all these so-called people are so in love with the Canadian element of the Canadian Football League and keeping it that way, but people still are too fucking lazy or try to complain that the tickets are too expensive to go to a game and rather stay at home and watch it on TV, when I know for a fact Canadian tickets to a Canadian football game are not that expensive.
How much are tickets, do you think? I've never paid for
the most expensive ticket would probably
let's say like
$80 or $90.
Like you're saying, like behind the bench 50-yard
and that's
line. Like the
that's
first row
next to the
50-yard
field.
line. Yeah, like you're the first row 50-yard line. You're saying like $80.
It's $80 to $100.
All right, let me put this in perspective for you. NFL, you're not going to get that seat because that's for season ticket holders.
Yes.
But if you were to buy that,
but if you were a season ticket holder,
yeah,
it's a pretty expensive seat.
Yeah,
you're paying close to $1,000.
Yeah, $500
maybe
to $1,000.
more.
Yeah, it's not as expensive obviously as courtside NBA, but it's like it's up there. Well,
It's
and
up
then, but when you get to the big games too, like Super Bowl. So this is another thing, and I'll say it. This is another thing. You get Super Bowl tickets. Every player, even if you don't make it to the Super Bowl. Let's say you don't even make it to the playoffs. You still get 2 Super Bowl tickets. Every player in the NFL gets 2 Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah, 2.
You're not allowed to sell them.
You're not allowed to sell them.
Everybody
But they charge you about $700 to $800 per ticket.
So everybody sells them. Everybody sells them.
Yeah.
They find, you can't keep track of that. Like,
under the table, they're not gonna. You're not allowed to, but players do it.
Let me tell you what you sell those tickets for.
Double,
quadruple.
Some guys,
if you get less,
double at least.
Honestly, like if you're lazy, you'll sell those tickets for like $2,000 a piece. If you want to work for it and you want to fly like to the Super Bowl, like fly to the Super Bowl and
well, you have to go there to get the tickets anyway.
Well, that's the thing.
You can't get them. You can't get them. You have to go pick them up personally.
That's
how they restrict
people
from selling it. No,
because I got the tickets in hand.
No, that's how they.
And I gave them up.
That's how they restrict people from selling them. You have to, if you ask for the tickets, you have to go there and get them.
Yeah, but people do it because it's an extra.
But guys do it though.
When you do that though, you make money.
I'll spend
much money.
I'll spend $1,000 to get a hotel room, flight, go to Super Bowl for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Do all the stuff that they give NFL players for free, and sell my tickets for $6,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Come home with a $4,000 or $5,000 flip.
Yep, exactly. And everybody does it.
Easy.
And it's funny when they say don't, but like
I'm sorry, NFL guys who are doing it. I don't mean to tell on you guys, but
that's what I'm saying. Like,
talking.
Yeah, that's an under the bus fine probably for me.
Yeah, that's
under the bus fine for sure. But like that's the thing. Is, we're in the CFL. We can talk about the NFL. But like, it's the way it works.
But again, back to my original point because we got way off topic. Back to my original point. What was I saying? Yes, the NFLPA is holding guys Madden checks because they're anticipating a lockout so that they can get what they want.
Yep.
They're gonna lock out. They already know.
Their CBA's up after this next
season.
season.
They're telling agents and guys right now, 2 or 3 years before the thing even goes up, that it's gonna happen.
So save your money.
So start
because
saving,
the NFLPA
start being smart. The PA are actually holding guys Madden checks for the next 2-3 years so that they can give it to them when they lock out.
Yeah, when
so
they
that
lock
guys
out.
will have money.
Yeah, exactly. We don't
Which
have
I am
like
pissed that our PA didn't do for guys because they knew this was coming.
Yep.
And if we were going to fight for fairness and equal rights,
we need to be paid in the offseason somehow.
Why not have some type of fund or something on the side to help guys get through because you knew guys were going to be stressed.
Yep. That's
my own personal riff, but. Again,
it is what it is.
Like I said, that's why I think all these meetings and everything is just filler. It's bullshit. Yep. They already know what they're gonna do.
Yep.
They're just passing the time, give themselves something to do in the off season, so they don't have to preoccupy themselves with trying to find something else to do.
Exactly.
That's my personal opinion. I think they already know what they're gonna agree on. I think the agreement's probably gonna be figured out late April, early May. Probably figure out right before guys are supposed to report for training camp.
I really don't think. I don't think we're gonna.
I don't think it's gonna go into training camp.
No, I think we'll report on time. We'll report
it could.
On time. I hope it doesn't.
I hope it goes to at least week 2.
Yeah, same.
But it's probably not.
Because at least it would put some stress on the owners and the CFL. Put even a little bit of stress. Like
I would hope it would go to week 2, but I know for a fact it's not going to.
Yeah, because right now the CFL has all the leverage.
Yes.
All the leverage in the world because they've
always had all the
guys
leverage.
Are working. Guys are driving for Uber. Guys are delivering for DoorDash right now. Everything. They're doing
Uber
anything
Eats,
they can. Substitute teaching like your boy, coaching O-lineman like your boy.
I'm about to start delivering for Amazon.
Exactly. Like stuff like that. Guys are struggling. So CFL has all the leverage. But if you show the CFL that
I try to get a job with the AF.
Exactly, like coaching, right?
No, doing in their communications stuff.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
It's a seasonal job.
Guys are looking for everything.
It spans through the off season, but
exactly.
Again, they didn't hire me because I'm a CFL player.
No, but if we hold out, even if we don't even show up for a camp on time, and like we hold out just for a little bit, the owner's gonna be like, "Oh shit." CFL's gonna be like, "Oh shit," a little bit, at least a little bit. Like
they're already losing money. They don't want to lose any more.
No.
But again, like I said, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I don't think so either. I think we're gonna report on time.
I think it's gonna be like another. It's gonna be like another month and a half, and the news is gonna come out that they've reached an agreement.
Exactly. No,
I think a part of it now is these little stories that are leaking, like the ratio thing and all that.
Yep.
I think that's just part of the league scheme to try to kind of undermine certain things that they want to get in the next bargaining agreement to kind of give them something that they want. So they just if they cause a little friction in the union, it'll help bring certain arguments to the table. Because again, here's my thing: if you're gonna negotiate a new agreement, a new contract, why are you doing meetings 2 days a week, every other week in different cities? Does that make any sense?
Maybe it's just to like.
Why is it a whole marketing scheme about doing contractual meetings in different cities across the league so that we can show how the league pans across the country?
I'm wondering if that could be one thing.
Does that make any sense?
The other thing could be is like maybe they're kind of like lessening the load for guys that have to fly. Like let's say it was always in Montreal. Well, you have all these West Coast guys that have to fly all the way to Montreal.
That's part of it.
Exactly.
Why do we pay dues?
Yep. Yeah. Why do we pay dues if we don't have any?
If you're gonna make it easier for guys to get to meetings, why are we paying dues? That's what the dues are for.
You're right.
Why are you taking $75 to $100 a week out of my check to make to load from every guy in the league's check to load up so that you can do all these things? Why are you moving meetings in different cities? And you know what I'm saying? Like it's
like you said, it's probably just marketing. Like marketing.
It's filler,
like
bro.
Filler.
It's filler. In my personal opinion,
and I'm sure
I can't speak for everybody. I could be wrong, but I think
they get something done.
I think some stuff will get done, but I think the majority of things, I think it's already agreed upon.
No, I agree, and really the thing the meetings are probably for is just kind of so everybody's on the same page. But it's like it probably only takes like one meeting to get on the same page.
I listen. I've been reading the articles that they say the first couple meetings is just to get the contractual language and little stuff agreed upon, and then once those stuff are out the way and they get to the big issues, it's gonna fly. So they're gonna take a month to talk about the little stuff. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks, and then another month, 5, maybe 6 weeks. So I say 12 weeks in total to talk about what's gonna be. You add that up to we got what date is it now? It's March
17th,
middle of March.
Yeah.
So 2 months.
2 months.
Pretty much
exactly 2 months until we report.
That's when it's gonna get done.
Yep. No, I agree with you.
Right before we're supposed to come, that's when it's gonna get done.
Exactly. It's gonna be interesting, and we'll see what happens. And you know, and the things are gonna things are really heating up right now, which I appreciate.
I mean, it's gonna get even more heated. This is just the tip of the iceberg. But again, if you pay attention, if you know anything about war and war tactics, all these little stories coming out about the ratio change and what spots and this and that, it's just to create, it's just little grenades to just create some explosions to cause see what you can and what you can't get.
Exactly.
And then once they get to the table, it's like, all right, boom, listen, your guys are already out here on Twitter arguing about who has national status and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Then basically, boom. You know what I'm saying? It's filler, bro. It's filler. It's honestly, I sound crazy, but everything is full of conspiracy, in my personal opinion. I think they already know what they're going to do. They're going to get it done eventually. They're just trying to pass the time and have stuff to do throughout the offseason.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to be.
And it's hard to get everything done that you want to do as a union when the CFL currently is holding all the leverage with withholding checks and things like that.
And listen, I honestly learned to stop talking about it because I feel like I'm getting blue in the face from just talking about shit that no one wants to hear.
Exactly.
And all they want to do is just take the whatever they think is negative that's coming out of my mouth and kind of spit it into, oh, well, this guy's saying this or this guy's saying this. So kind of like, that's why I'm kind of upset about some of the tweets that guys are putting out there, like Andrew Harris, the Canadian running back from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Tweeted, basically tweeted at American players, if you guys are so pissed off about how it works up here, why don't you have the AAF and the XFL? Why don't you go try that?
Yeah,
basically saying,
and that's the other thing too is I don't understand that too.
That's unnecessary.
Like, if you want American players to feel like a part of this league,
we make half the league up.
You want them to have an allegiance to the CFL. Why are you pushing them away like that? Like, and that goes to the CFL fans as well. Like, you want your guys to play, but then you don't really make the American players feel welcome.
If you're gonna make this about a pride thing and about where you're from and all of that, then listen, CFL is always going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be a league that American guys should come to just to try to save their football careers and get back on the football field and get film so that they could get back to the States and do something else.
Or even for the guys that just love playing football, and even if they like, because there are some Americans
but
that know they're not going to go back to the NFL, and they love playing football, so they do that. And
you got guys like that.
You know, you got that's probably like 10% of
the guys like me. See, me honestly, as a football player, in my mindset, it's always about maximizing my potential. So if I play a rookie deal and I play really well and I become a guy that people want to talk about, then I expect to get paid like a guy that people like to talk about. Don't try to tell me that because I'm American or because of this or because you want to structure your roster a certain way, or you decided that you want to change this position to Canadian, then you're not going to pay me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard, man. Like, nothing against. I'm never mad at guys for getting what they do or getting their money.
Never.
But these quarterback salaries that they're quote unquote going to pay now is making it hard for other good players to come back to a team because it's taken away. You know what I'm saying? Why do you have one player? You got one player making 15% of the salary cap.
One player.
One player.
Then you got to pay.
And I'm not saying quarterbacks aren't important, but again,
no,
you're allocating almost 15% of your cap to one guy.
Yeah, it's the most important player on the field, but like 15% for a team of 46, sorry. You have 15% going to one guy, then you have to split up the other 85%.
Yeah, but why is it, you know what I'm saying?
The 45 other guys, that's insane.
Why is it that, you know what I'm saying, a left tackle is making 4 or 5 times less than the quarterback?
Nuts, because left tackles in the league are the second highest paid position, and in the NFL, and they make more than their quarterback sometimes.
The only position that's a non-import that normally gets paid close to a quarterback is receiver.
Yep.
I'm like, it's just so many dynamics.
There's like the rare,
and I'm not hating.
Don't
get me wrong, I'm not hating. I'm glad dudes are getting their money. If you can get your money, get your money.
No, we're just comparing CFL. The way
I'm
the
just
CFL
saying
pay scale
the
goes
dynamic
to the
it
NFL.
creates. They're creating this on purpose because they want to keep it that way.
Because they want to pit players against each other, so that we're not as unified when it comes to negotiations.
That's it.
It's like you were saying, wartime tactics.
Listen. It's the age-old adage in football. Competition is king.
Competition is king.
Competition is king. If you can create competition in anything, salaries, treatment, play, you know what I'm saying? Like
facilities.
As long as you can create competition, it will always overrule anything else.
That's real.
And if I feel like I gotta compete, you know what I'm saying? I've stated this before. As an American, you don't compete with guys in your position. You compete with every American on the roster just to get on the field. So if you feel like I pose a certain importance to your team's success,
pay me like I'm important.
Pay me like I'm important.
Exactly. Treat me like I'm your first round draft pick.
Exactly.
Treat me like I'm the guy that you want to make the team.
But again, it's always owners just always do it. That's the same thing in the NFL. That's why this latest CBA has been jerking veterans in the NFL, because if you go, oh, well, you're paying way too much to rookies who are coming out of college and have never played and haven't proven themselves. I've been in the league such and such years. I deserve that money. Now owners are just going, okay, well, it's business. Well, why would I get a 6-year guy with wear and tear and pay him $10 million when I got a rookie sitting on practice squad for 2 years and elevate him, let him start next year, and I'm paying him $550,000.
Exactly.
You're just always gonna find ways that, well, I'm not screwing you. You screwed yourself. It's just how it is, man. That's just my 2 cents.
No, it is how it is, and you know what? We'll see what happens here, and we're gonna keep you guys updated as the news keeps coming out about how these talks are going and how the negotiations are going. We're gonna have, as you can see from this episode, we have a lot to say about it.
It's a lot.
The more it develops,
and there's going to be more to talk about.
Exactly. The more it develops, there's going to be more to talk about.
Try not to dominate the podcast with these topics. I
feel
felt like because of the firestorm that just happened, it was just cool for us to sit down and talk about it.
No, absolutely. And if it does dominate the podcast, it is what it is. If it's what needs to be talked about, we're going to talk about it. That's why we're here, because you want to hear our opinions from the locker room, from guys that are currently in it. And that was the entire point of the podcast. So that's why we're here. Yeah. So if that's what's going to be dominating the conversation, we're going to keep at it.
Yeah.
But again, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
what is this episode?
Episode 9.
9.
God damn, we're rolling. We're rolling. We made it through the rookie slump.
We're pushing through the rookie wall.
I think we made it through.
Pushing through.
because I feel good about it this week. Last week I was kind of like
last week was a
little dull, had nothing to do with Jamil being with Britton being our guest. It was just it was more like editing, keeping up with it. But here we are.
It's a process.
It's a process.
I wish I had my bonus so I don't have to worry about getting the job, but
yeah, it would free up time for our scheduling to do this podcast more. But thank you so much for listening. The best way to support our podcast is to subscribe on YouTube, to follow us on SoundCloud. The follows and the subscriptions are all free, and that is what supports the podcast the most. So make sure you follow, like, subscribe, comment. Get in the comment section and create some conversation.
Tweet us our personal pages or tweet us at Insights from the LR. We're on everything, paying attention.
We will respond. We will talk about it on the podcast.
We are trying we're doing our best to push out as much content as we can to keep the people interested.
Exactly, and at the same time keeping it quality. So thank you, everybody. And again, we're gonna keep it rolling.
Yeah, we're rolling. But again, thank you for tuning in. We love you guys. See you next week.
Take it easy.